Hey guys, what's up? My name is Anthony, and welcome to another edition of BNA Sports Talk. And wait, what? Andrew Thomas, 4th overall pick? No, this is too good to be true. I am not believing this until draft day at whatever time we're on the clock. I'm not believing it. Let's just get on with the rest of the video. Do not get my hopes up. Today, what I want to talk about is the New York Giants and potentially trading Nate Solder, because there's a report that came out that the Giants are interested in just releasing him, cutting him as early as this year. And I think that we could potentially trade him to a team that misses out on a left tackle in the first round of the draft. The timing of this is going to be quick, and there's a really short window, but the Giants should be ready to trade Nate Solder to a team. I think he's worth a 3rd-round pick, a high second if a team's really desperate, but not really. If Brandon Cooks is worth a 2nd-round pick, I think Nate Solder can be worth a 2nd-round pick as well. So let's start taking a look at the teams. First, the Miami Dolphins. I think the Miami Dolphins, we have a little bit of a connection with them. You know, with Joe Judge, with Patrick Graham, he just coached there. There's a little bit of a connection, and potentially there are 2 possible scenarios I can see. On the first day, they just draft their quarterback, and then we hold up the phone like, hey, are you sure you're going to get a left tackle at 18 or whatever? And then we trade with the Miami Dolphins. They trade up from 5 to 4. And we give them they give us their 18th, and we give them Nate Solder just to protect them a little bit. Or the 2nd round, we can give them, because they're a little bit less desperate, and then maybe they do get a left tackle, or maybe not actually. And then for the 2nd round pick on day 2, we get their 2nd round pick, and then with that you get your left tackle of the future with Andrew Thomas at 5, and then you get potentially Cesar Luis and another safety at that pick. Maybe McKinney drops, but you get some good depth. You get another piece. That's something that the Giants could look at. If you're the Giants, you could potentially at number 18, if you have the 5th and 18th pick, and number 18, we can go after a high-fledged linebacker like a Kenneth Murray, a Patrick Queen, a guy that's a little bit more raw, whatever, but you could say a Clavon Chason, an edge rusher, but one of the more premium guys. You have the first pick at one of those guys. I think that could be a really viable option for the Giants. So we have a lot of options to do. I think that's going to be very important for the Giants. You're either at 4, then 36 and 38, or you're at 5 and 18. Which would you guys rather do? Also, some other teams that I could potentially see, let's run through them a little bit. You have the Cardinals, who already have their left tackle in DJ Swearinger. Then I think that's his name. It could be potentially, sometimes I say a name, I'm like, I'm not sure if that's that guy's name. But you have the Panthers, who, they're committed to taking. The Chargers, I'm not too sure if Nate Solder really works out a deal. We can do the potentially Miami deal with them, the 2nd scenario that I mentioned. Or you could get after the Jets or the Browns and get one of their 3rd-round picks later, because they're going to be a little bit less desperate. They have been allocating a little bit money towards the offensive line. You trade them for Nate Solder, and then get a guy in the 3rd round like Pert or somebody like that. And I think that could be very valuable for the Giants. Get some offensive line depth. Still draft your guy in Andrew Thomas, and then instead of Nate Solder, we're going to have to move off of him eventually. Just get young. We're going to have to learn eventually. Let's just get young on the offensive line. Let's have guys for the future. Let's not have Nate Solder there. And we already have connection with the Browns, with the Jets. They could pay him. We'd save $6.5 million, create a little bit more flexibility. We'd be very thin on the offensive line, but bring in the Jason Peters. I made a whole video about it. 83.4 PFF grade. He's been kind of injured, but he's been a solid rock for the Eagles for years. Obviously, there's a reason why they let go of him, because he's old, and they drafted a young left tackle, but he's open to play right tackle. He's going to be an amazing leader in this locker room. So those are some trade scenarios I can see. Let me know what you guys think. So, what's Nate Solder's trade value? Obviously, there's some certain trade values for different things. There's obviously the Jacksonville trade rumor where we can give him Nate Solder, and then we can get like the 9th and the 20th with Yannick Ngakoue in that certain scenario like that. Free up some cap space to pay a Yannick Ngakoue. We can do that. And then number 9, we can select offensive tackle. Whoever the Cardinals don't select, we'd select at 9. Do you want to gamble on it? Do you want to have your first bite at the apple at the best guy? Or is that important to you? And then number 20, we can select another guy right there. And we'll free up like $6 to $7 million in cap space. No, I think that would be a great option for the Giants to do. It'll just free up a bunch of cap flexibility, and that's what we kind of need right now. We need to stay a little bit younger and make our offensive tackle depth really thin. If you take a look at it, we'd have a offensive tackle, a left tackle, let's say Andrew Thomas at the left. Then you'd have Will Hernandez, Cesar Luis, Kevin Zeitler, Cameron Fleming. that's not a lot of depth. One guy goes down, and all of a sudden your offensive line is it's not looking good. Yeah, the wall has been breached. It's not really that sturdy of a wall. So Nate Solder is a lot of our offensive line depth. But later in the rounds, we can go after guys like a Matt Pert for offensive line depth. We can bring in a guy, again, like Jason Peters for depth. This is a year where I think we need to spend a lot of assets with the offensive line. It will be a big risk. But the rumors are that we could potentially cut or trade him. And if we can get him for something, a third-round pick, more depth on this team, maybe a guy like Chenault, injury concerns, drop to us at, the third round, and we can get another wide receiver for Daniel Jones to throw to. Something to think about. If we trade him before June 1st, that'd be awesome. But let me know, what was your favorite trade scenario? If there's a trade scenario that I didn't mention that you guys would like to see with Nate Solder. Do you think, no, Nate Solder needs to stay for at least one more year, and the next year we can cut him for virtually nothing? Do that. We're wasting too much money in dead cap. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.